Everyone, and good morning. Thanks very much for joining us today. I'm Nicole Testa-Boston, the Deputy Director at Fiatech. And this morning we're going to have some folks from Oracle talking about their enterprise system. Before we get started and I introduce the speakers for today, I wanted to go over a few items for those of you who may be using this GoToWebinar system for the first time. First is that toolbar is unique to you, so you can minimize that and move that off your screen by clicking the orange arrow up at the top. And if at any time you want to use that again, you can click on the arrow and it will maximize on your screen. You'll also notice that you're on a default muted setting. That's due to the number of attendees on this webinar. So we do still encourage and welcome participation, and you can do that through the Questions tab on that toolbar. So if there's anything that you'd like a little more detailed information about that the speaker is covering, if you've got any questions or, like I said, want to seek clarification on any points, please just type those in. Those will go directly to me. I will not reveal the person's name or company that's asking those questions, but as time permits at the end of the hour, I will field those questions to our presenters, and they will get through as many of those as we can. Those that we can't get to at the end of the 60 minutes, we will follow up with you personally after the webinar. And last but not least, we have and are recording this webinar. We're recording both the audio and the PowerPoint slides, and we'll be posting it on the Fiatech website at fiatech.org. Give us a couple days to get that link up, but we should have it there by the end of the week in our media library. So with that, I want to go ahead and introduce our three speakers today. Craig Larson is the Industry Director for Engineering and the Construction Industry at Oracle. He's been there he came to Oracle 14 years ago with a background of over 15 years of engineering and project management experience. He has a degree in civil engineering from the University of Utah and specialized in geotechnical engineering. He has managed many large construction projects, including earth and dams, levees, roadways, deep and shallow structure foundations, and heap leach pads for the mining industry. Prior to earning a degree in engineering, he worked for Materials Testing Agency, providing quality control on construction projects. One of the roles Mr. Larson performs is to act as a liaison between customers and the development organizations within Oracle. As the needs, markets, and technologies in the engineering and construction market continue to change, it is necessary for Oracle to respond with software to support this market. Craig continues to work with customers to document current and future requirements in order for Oracle development to deliver capabilities to meet those requirements. I would also mention Craig is also our liaison. Oracle is a member of the Fiatech Consortium, and Craig serves as the primary rep to the organization. Joining him today is Tim Beck, who is a principal sales consultant for the Oracle Primavera Global Business Unit. Tim has more than 25 years of experience in project and operational management. In his current role and as a consulting manager and product manager for Oracle Primavera, Tim has provided product and project management, developed sales and implementation methodology, designed business processes for software, and provided consulting services for clients throughout the world. Prior to joining Primavera, Tim was a construction project manager, consultant, and vice president and operations manager for a construction company. And last but certainly not least is Garrett Harley. He's the product and industry market manager for engineering and construction at Oracle Primavera. He's a passionate advocate of project controls and the value that it provides. Sparked Garrett's career as a project controls engineer out of college with Bechtel Corporation out of San Francisco, California. Upon leaving Bechtel, Garrett worked as a trainer, implementation consultant, and sales engineer for a Primavera authorized reseller named Keller Corporation in San Francisco. During Primavera's expansion, his office and staff were acquired and formally joined the Primavera family in 1997. He has since continued to focus his energies on engineering and construction customers as part of the Primavera Global Business Unit within Oracle Corporation, and now oversees those vertical industry and marketing efforts. Knowing that our products are an integral part of delivering the tangible assets that you can see and touch firsthand is why I think this is the most satisfying business to be on in the planet. For me, it's always been about the projects. He is a lone Y chromosome in a family of 4, a volunteer ski patroller at Homewood Mountain Resort in Lake Tahoe Basin, lucky duck, and an Ironman finisher. Good for you. So with that, let me turn this over to Tim and Craig and Garrett, and we'll get this started. Thank you.
Nicole, thank you very much for having us on here today, and appreciate all those who are joining. It's really a thrill for us to have an opportunity to speak to this audience today. Tim, if you could go ahead and advance to the next slide, and we'll go ahead and get started. Oracle has been in this industry for many, many years, and we've been very successful in providing solutions to the engineering and construction industry. We've had many incredible solutions that we've provided to this market. But we're not standing still. We haven't stood still. We're not going to be standing still. And what I'd like to do is take just a moment to preview what's coming. Although much that has been built has been delivered to the market, and those things that we are building are based upon the wonderful solutions that we've provided in the past and what we've delivered. But we anticipate that the sequels that we'll be delivering will be blockbuster hits just like those that we've had in the past. Tim, can you advance to the next slide, please? We're very fortunate as a large the entire project life cycle. As we look at a capital construction project from beginning to end, we have solutions that fit for the entire process from beginning to end. But uniquely, we know that there are many players that participate and interact throughout this process, and we have the ability to provide a solution for those individual players. So if you took a position on the map that we have up here and looked at HR, the perspective around HR would be very different from a general contractor to an architect versus BIM requirements between the owner and the specialty subcontractor. So as you stand on one of the platforms, you have a different perspective of what the requirements are in order to bring together and execute on the entire project lifecycle. But we do provide the solutions for the entire industry, from the general contractors, specialty subs, engineers, architects, the design build, and the EPC contractors. And for those of you that are on the call, I'm certain that you probably span that entire spectrum, and that as you're thinking about your current role, you would look at a map like this and say, okay, here's my requirements, here's the challenges that I have and my perspective on this, and know particularly of the way that you would execute throughout the entire project lifecycle. We know also that not one single solution will meet the needs of every participant in the project lifecycle. That's why it's important for us to continue to understand the requirements and to continue to grow with solutions that we bring together to meet those needs. I think many of you who know Oracle and those who are becoming familiar with Oracle know that we have been in this industry for quite some time, but we've grown significantly in bringing applications to this industry through some of the key acquisitions. Primarily, Primavera is one of those star players in this industry, and leveraging their tremendous amount of expertise and capability and expanding that throughout the entire life cycle and execution around construction. Next slide, please, Tim. And as you know, as you're performing your day-to-day jobs, you know that with so many participants inside of the life cycle of a project, that it becomes very complex around anything such as supply chain management, or even something as simple as a change order and processing that through the entire chain of command and delivering that information out to all of the participants that are needing that information. And so the complexity inherently has challenges that are associated with it. The large number of folks that are interacting here create opportunity for communication breakdown, schedule management, changes in scope, risk profiles that are changing. And the list of challenges could go on for pages as you review the challenges that you face in your particular operations or in the function or role that you play, that you consider what are the challenges that I face and what is the impact associated with those. Because there are certainly impacts that that we each face in our roles. While the complexity and the subsequent need for coordination is not likely to change anytime soon, it's our role, and the way that we view this, that it's our role to really bring order to this chaos. So next slide, please, Tim. And each, oh, I'm sorry, we somehow missed one slide in there. That's okay, and we'll just stay right there. So each actor has a part to play and a role to perform, and there's challenges by the processes, by the procedures that have been adopted because of the limitations in systems, the applications, technology that is used by companies. And our role is really to break down these various barriers and enable more efficient interaction throughout the processes. So with that preamble completed, I really want to introduce the star of our show here today, and that's Mr. Tim Beck, and his role is to really bring additional order out of the chaos that we all live and breathe within this industry. So, Tim?
Thanks, Craig. A couple things I'm going to talk about today, and it's really 4 key items that I want to focus on. We want to look at enterprise project management as something simple. We want to look at it as something that's standardized across all the processes. We want to look at something that's integrated to other systems, integrated to other pieces of functionality. Enter something once, use it everywhere. And finally, we want to look at something that's automated process, repeatable process to build best practices as we go forward. But before we get going, I want to talk about the big picture of enterprise project management and how companies today are preparing for the future and how we at Oracle see this vision of the future. First, I want to discuss where we see a lot of companies today. I want to say that we see a lot of companies doing a lot of things right, but we really need to discuss are the things that we see in a lot of companies' current state and some of their planning for the future that we feel we need to address in those items. One of the things we notice when we talk to these different companies, the organizations, they're telling us what they want in their project management software, and we hear, we want to do what we do today but with better technology. But we rarely hear people say much about going to a complete enterprise project management system. Usually what we hear is just a discussion of features and functions, which is great if it's in the context of enterprise project management. But most organizations haven't given that much thought. When I bring that up, they always tell me, we're moving forward and thinking outside the box. We have plenty of good products that we're using to help us become better at managing projects. And there's really the rub. Plenty of products. Well, do they talk to each other? Is the data shared between the products? How many times do people input the same information? Can I report on all that data in a single, simple report? And the answer always seems to be, well, no. So having all that technology is great, but it's not really getting the job done properly. In pieces, it sounds good, but without the core enterprise project management functionality around it, you aren't really getting much more of a benefit than by doing things manually. And when companies told us they integrated all the individual systems so that they could talk to each other, pass information back and forth, we typically ask how they manage the security model to manage all that data. And that tended to be an ongoing issue that most hope was okay. Again, pieces and parts sound good, but together it's broken. There were things they needed to be done in Excel. There were things they needed to have seen across multiple systems. There's data from other systems that was being entered in multiple systems without automatic integrations. All in all, some good ideas, but no overall security or vision in it. Well, sooner rather than later, that train's coming. A year from now, if your system doesn't fit into the corporate strategy, the train's going to be gone and a new system will be needed to meet the demands of smaller margins and smarter and faster time to market. And the only way to improve in those areas is by being more efficient. So if any one of you are making that decision today and chooses not to go down an EPM path, I'm sure that a couple of years from now someone's going to be wondering why he didn't choose that. But the good news is At Oracle, we have a vision of the future, a plan to get you what you need today and get you where you need to be a year from now and going forward. It's time to realize that enterprise project management is that future. A lot of people we speak with are concerned about going to an enterprise model for the project management needs. Always hear that, oh, it's way too complicated. Or I hear it's way too complex to change what we're doing today. A lot of people even think that they'll be losing some of the control or power they have today, or worried that the dependencies people have on them for reporting and information will go away once their colleagues have information right at their fingertips. But what we typically tell them is, listen, relax. It's not that complicated. It's not too complex. And your loss of controlling what you see and know will be replaced by doing things better for everyone, becoming part of the solution, not being part of the real problem. We've been doing this for about 30 years, and we know what works, and we have a solution to help get you where you need to be. We have a solution that's got no limitations, true ad hoc reporting on anything you want, role-based security so some people can see whatever they need to see and do their job. There's out-of-the-box integrations with other systems so there's no compromising data. Then there's flexible workflows, views, all out of the box. We use the latest technology from both a user perspective, things like mobile technologies, smartphones, for example, to developers' technology so we can easily bring in new features and functions into our tools without duct tape and glue. Oracle's a huge company with a lot of smart people, over 120,000. So technology we develop is shared across the platform on all of our products. That's been one of our real jumps forward. We have true collaboration and enhanced communication functionality across our entire system. So it lets us talk to other systems and other users so that everyone's on the same page with real-time data and reports. Real-time communication and true collaboration make both updating and consuming the information simple. We offer visibility at your fingertips with configurable dashboard views containing key performance indicators based on real-time data so that people can see what they need when they need it, with easy to recognize, red, yellow, green type indicators to get their jobs done better, faster, and smarter. It's also a system that's based on data sharing. So if one user needs information from someone else, it's available, as long as they have the permission to see that. When a person turning a wrench at a job site checks a box to say finished, when he's put the last fixture in place, the CEO of that organization may not need to know who did it or even what they did. He just needs to know his building and business is ready to be opened. And that data sharing, it gives us the ability to create project templates based on historical data and then be able to share them and build best practices from them. And then finally, it's really a true enterprise system, role-based, secure system. Single platform containing all your project, program, and portfolio data. It's what at Oracle we like to call a single source of the truth. And again, as I mentioned earlier, it really is simple. From an end user perspective, it'll be easier to do their job than it was before. From deployment, the role-based security and views make it simple to roll out. From enhanced ad hoc reporting, data mining, it's one configurable platform that holds all your data in one place. And all that data can be held in our dashboards. So they offer like a landing page for any type of user, whether it's an executive looking to quickly see how his company or group is doing. Maybe it's a project manager who first thing in the morning wants to jump in and look at their project activities, schedule status, make sure things are on time and are on budget. Or maybe it's just a field foreman just wanting to see his daily tasks or easily update a task he's just completed. All those things are right at their fingertips. When I talk about the standardized views, we've enhanced that system to give organizations the ability to standardize their processes across the entire enterprise. No need to reinvent the wheel for each person or each group that's out there. And the good thing is you can standardize a process, yet you configure the user experience to meet the exact needs of different business units or different programs within your system. And a big part of that is our workflow, our business process management within the tools. They're a big part of standardization. It's core functionality within the Oracle solution as well, and it can be utilized in a dashboard like you see here, or it can be form-driven or even come through email if you'd like it to do that. And The workflows can be complex. I can have things like divergent paths, loopback functionality, conditional routing. They can go to multiple groups or individuals, and even interact with other systems within the workflow. But it can also be simple. There's as simple as looking at a document, then creating a document review workflow on the spot for approval or just to distribute it out to other people. It's also an integrated system. We're integrated with other Oracle systems directly out of the box. We also have integrations to other systems out of the box, some of our competitors, as a matter of fact. Again, the single data platform, coupled with those standardized processes and our simple, easy-to-use views, makes it one-stop shopping experience we've been talking about. Now it's even more powerful with the integration within it. So we have out-of-the-box integrations with financial data. So if you're using Oracle Financial, some other financial can automatically be brought in your dashboard views. So I'll have that information right at my fingertips. I can also slice and dice that information or view it by region, market segment, project manager, services, any way you'd like to slice and dice that financial information because it's integrated with all the other systems. We have out-of-the-box document management that can integrate between a corporate document management system or other Oracle products, such as AutoView, which is our document viewer, which is shown here in the portal and the dashboard. If I kick that up a little bit here, you see what AutoView is. That's allows users to view and mark up hundreds of document types. You know, it could be a CAD drawing like we see here, could be a Visio document, photos, Microsoft Office documents. All those and a lot more can be viewed, and that means you don't actually need to have CAD or Visio, for example, to view those in the system. The good thing is you can also mark it up with comments. So if you'll notice here, the markup toolbar on the left and the comments and the markups being notated at the bottom there. So you can actually have different people mark up things in different colors so you can tell who did what and see their notations with a date and time stamp at the bottom of the page. So it's really nice if you're doing like drawing reviews, constructability type information. But also in that document management, it gives you the ability to create a folder structure so you can set it up any way you want with your permissions as you'd like as well on it. You can do things like create and view versions of a document, including a full audit history of who did what to a document. You also have the ability to work directly with documents, do things like copy from an existing document template, create a new document template, tie into an existing corporate document repository like SharePoint or Documentum. Again, you can put a document directly through a document review workflow like we just talked about earlier, directly from a pop-up on the toolbar there. You can check in, check out a document so people can't modify or version it while you're working on it. And then there's some other things that we can do out of the box. We can even integrate to your email system so that a document can be emailed directly to someone who isn't working in the system per se. Obviously, with Primavera being part of Oracle, we have the ability to create, manage, and view schedules in the system. It can be the ability just to see a schedule in your dashboard with some key performance indicators, or you can drill in that summary data to see a full critical path schedule with a Gantt chart. The system also allows you to fully automate those processes. So do it with true integration, utilizing the standards and governance you build in the system, all with that simple, easy-to-use interface we talked about. Now, a good example of how all the systems work together is in our out-of-the-box functionality based on bid management. So looking at a bid proposal in our bid management log, let's take a look at this site remediation bid here. So we've created two bid items in the site remediation. One called site remediation and the other permitting. And we have two bidders who bid on that, Johnson Paving and Standard Paving. They've entered their data into the system securely, so they've automatically gone in here, had access rights to go in and enter their information securely. And now looking at the bids, I can see that Johnson's the low bidder and the vendor I want to contract with. So I can simply click on that award this item button on the bottom of the page, and the contract will be awarded directly from here, fully automated. So on my contracts log, when I go to that now, I can see a contract's been issued to Johnson Paving. Drilling into that paving, I can see that the bid information was passed directly to the contract. So I see the contract summary. If I look at the light items, I see they're matched directly with the bid items. Fully automated out of the box. Again, no one had to re-enter that again. Automatically, a single click of a button entered all that data one time. Now, again, once a contract's created like that and work's performed, a vendor can bill you for his work. So our payment requisition functionality allows vendors to enter their information directly in the system. So here you can see the requisition and see the schedule values from the contract automatically populated, the schedule of values in the requisition. And by the way, they came from the bid document up front, fully automated. If you use like AIA type forms and views, you can also view your requisition summary directly to see, what's been paid, what's been retained, what materials are stored, and what's left to be paid there. But the real key to all this is that the data is captured in the process. It's being recorded in real time on our cost worksheet. The cost worksheet, when I look at this, I go in and see the cost code for that site remediation that we've been working in. When I click on that, I can look at automatically. I see those committed contract information. So there's my contract line items with their full amount of the commitment on there up front that when we awarded that bid. And I can also now, from the requisitions, go see my actuals paid to date on those line items. Again, this was a single process that started the bidding stage, followed all the way through payments, and seeing that information in the cost worksheet, which, by the way, ties into your corporate financial system, automatically integrated and fully automated as well. So let's just look at a couple more pieces of functionality that we have in the system, enterprise project management. We have daily field reports, which can capture information on labor, information on things like field deliveries and stored materials, also things like work activity, schedule information, weather, again, all held in a single database, all fully automated, integrated, and standardized, and all in easy to use. I'm not going to go through each piece of functionality here. I'm just going to talk about some of the other functionalities available out of the box without going each of them at this time. But for example, in project information, we can track issues. Very great for claim mitigation. Tie an issue there. 2 years from now, I can look at a project and see everything that was tied to that issue, whether it's an RFI, whether it's a change order, whether it's a contract, whether it's correspondence, whatever it might be, issues tied to that. I can track my permits, any agreements with that. I can look at my project schedule. We've kind of taken a look at that and drill into that and see what I need to see in my project schedule. On the communication type of information, we have direct links to and from your email system, so that email can be automatically routed into the project database. So for example, I can set up a project email that anytime something comes into me, if I want it forward, I just put that project email in, forward it automatically, it'll file it in here. So instead of trying to hold two databases, I'm trying to keep some information in my email system that tied to my project, or I'm printing it out, I'm scanning it, putting it in my correspondence. I can just do a simple thing like forward it automatically, it'll go into correspondence received. I can also have it, when I send correspondence, notate it and put it directly in my communication folder in my document repository within the system. We handle meeting minutes, so any type of a meeting you'd like to hold with the meeting minute items and track those from start to finish with responsible parties. We do transmittals, so I can transmit, set up distribution lists, have things transmitted to those automatically in the system. We talked a little bit about the contract information earlier when we talked about the ability to do bids and the proposal coming back within those bids, to doing contracts directly from that, payment requisitions. We also can handle change management directly in the system. A lot of people almost every client we have that uses our system in the contracting module almost always is using change management. It's proactive. It can affect cost, it can affect time, and it can affect your financial impact on a project right up front. So all that's captured in the system with the change management to put out change orders there. And then finally, basic project control functionality. There's requests for information. And from all these, you can actually start a change management process. So an RFI comes in, I think, oh boy, this is going to cost me money. Boom, I can put that in as a possible change. It'll immediately show as a possible change on my cost worksheet. I can handle things like submittals. So if I have cut sheets and I'm sending in engineering firms that have checked out, I can tie those in there. We do punch list type information for your closeout. Similar to the meeting minutes, all other people responsible for certain items, and they'll be tracked automatically in the system under punch lists. Safety, OSHA reportable safety type information. Drawings, we can track drawings in the system with all the revisions and drawing sets, and those sets they tie into automatically. So if you revision a drawing, you don't have to worry that it affects 25 sets. A single revision to a drawing will automatically revision 25 sets in the system. And finally, we do material tracking. We kind of have that in the system, whereas I can have a material delivery ticket come in, put that against it. Immediately I can see, all right, here's my original amount, how many units and dollar costs have I incurred to date, how many units and dollar costs do I have coming in the future, where's material stored, is it in place? So a lot of that easily ties in, so I can directly link that with my payment requisitions if you're tracking stored material as well. And finally, I want to talk about how easy people can interact with our system. Besides those dashboards we looked at earlier, there's really 3 simple ways that people can just enter data, update their tasks from our system. So the first way, that's Garrett doing his triathlon stuff, by the way, is via web browser. Here's a team member view, quick updates, talks directly to an easy-to-use browser view. So if people want to say they're finished, they can just actually put a check mark on it and say they're done. If people want to go and say, well, I think it's actually going to finish on this date, I think it's going to finish on this date, quickly do that right up front. Simple, easy-to-use view people are used to with favorites. Up at the top, you'll see I can just look at what I have to do today, what I have in the next overdue, things that are my favorites, so start ideas. Just a quick little web browser outside of the dashboard. Some people choose to use that. Click it and done. Second way we can do things in a simple to easy to use is email updates. So I can actually have email delivered to me with my tasks and things I need to do and update those tasks directly from email. I work in email, answer it, click update the task, and I'm done. So automatically through email people can do a quick update. So if somebody's on the road, at home, and they want to do some quick updates, email updates are a great way to go. And then finally, the third way is via iPhone updates. So we now have a smartphone technology, so you can actually go to the iPhone App Store and download the application so you can do your tasks and complete your tasks directly on an iPhone. And by the way, if you can do email and get email on a BlackBerry or a Droid, you can do it through the email view, but we're in the process of putting together apps directly for those two as well. So some simple, easy way people can update tasks, work in the system, and actually outside of the system for the most part, not have to worry about dashboards and drilling anything, just quickly update their tasks from here. But the real thing is the key to everything I've shown you today is pure out of the box. Nothing was customized, everything's configurable in the system. I can have the views I want, I can see the functionality I want, I have the permission sets that someone wants to give me, completely role-based, completely secure. So let's review kind of what we started with at the beginning. We told you it'd be simple. It's very simple to use the system. We told you we'd do standardization. We saw what that workflow, you can standardize a workflow where people could do the work, where you could have a view that people see the same way every time. It was easy, standardized use there. We talked about integration, how you can integrate with your financials, how you can integrate with a schedule, how you can integrate with other systems to bring that forward. Again, fully integrated in our system, everything working within it. And then finally, we told you to be fully automated. We showed you the automated process where I had something like bid management that utilized all those things. It was easy to use. We saw that there was standardization and a workflow it went through to go to different people to complete their parts of it. We showed you how it integrated between the different systems, and we showed you how it was fully automated, that someone clicks a button, it automatically created a contract. Someone goes to a requisition, says create a requisition, automatically pulls in the line items from that up front. So simple, easy to use, simple, automated, and all from Oracle. So I want to thank you for your time today. I would say at this point, if there is opening the lines, if there's any questions, that Craig, Garrett, and I would be glad to answer those.
Thanks, Tim and Craig. We have quite a few questions. So where to begin? Let's see. What is your definition of a task? Are these scheduled tasks in Primavera P6?
I'll take that. They could be, or they could be tasks in any of our systems at all. So it could be tasks in P6 or activities within P6. It could be something you have to do as a task in contract management. So the task can be from P6, but it can be through other systems as well.
Thank you.
Can I expand on that just a little bit, Nicole? And that task could be synonymous throughout the system. So a task in P6 could be the same task that you would find in the financial systems because of the integration. So the information passed from one system to the other is the same, so that they're equally identified if that's the model that they choose.
Okay, great, thank you. A few folks here missed the announcement at the beginning too that yes, we are recording this and we will post a copy of the presentation on the fiatech.org website later this week. Let's see, next question. What was your most challenging, I don't know if we can, let me skip that one for a moment. Is your punch list a visual one? I mean, is it tied to locations on the drawing to where you can visually report on it?
Yes.
Great.
It ties automatically into your drawings. You can list the area, but you can have anything with an attachment and tie a mark if you're using the auto view tool in with that. So the markup or the ability to view a drawing gives you the ability to put what we call a postmark, post-it note type functionality where you can actually link that to the punch list in your punch list log.
Okay.
Yeah, Tim, as a follow to that.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, as a follow to that, some of the new things that you saw as far as the mobile capabilities, one of the advantages in the iPhone is that we're allowing you to be able to take photos directly from your mobile device. And those could fall in as attachments that feed into things like the punch list items.
Okay. Can you generate an RFI with a workflow in the system, or does it log RFIs from external sources?
We can take that as a both.
Yeah, I would agree.
RFIs can come from multiple directions. So if you have other systems that you're required to utilize, they can flow into the multiple systems that we would have that would manage those RFIs, whether that's back in the Primavera or even into the ERP system.
Okay, can I send RFIs directly into the system via email?
RFIs directly in the system via email.
There's some requirements. Truthfully, yes, you can, but it's not as straightforward as just saying yes. There is some configuration that would be required and some standardization associated with that. It can be done where we can use the XML technologies to read a standardized format. That means if someone puts the information into an email, they would have to have a format that is utilized and standardized just for that RFI. But it can be done using the XML technology.
Okay. Let's see. can you get quantities generated from the BIM model? Can you check them against quantities consumed during construction?
Yeah, if you're using BIM, we didn't hit it heavily today, but if you're using BIM, obviously you can tie those together. So if you're doing that, you can have a delivery ticket tied back into that as well.
Okay, when it comes to scheduling with P6, is it strong enough in comparison to other scheduling applications to control those activities that have critical starts but not critical finishes?
Absolutely. To be honest,
Absolutely.
It's probably the strongest scheduling tool you could get out there. It's a true critical path management, true enterprise system. So I can have something as simple as a couple activities scheduled that looks like a spreadsheet, to we have things that some of the largest construction projects in the world have been built using the Primavera software. So thousands of activities, heavy-duty Gantt chart stuff, to that simple thing. So all manner, it's fully scalable to handle any type of scheduling needs.
Okay, can you elaborate on, this question came in earlier, can you elaborate on the progress measurement functionality of the tool and how configurable it is?
Progress measure. Well, our system gives you multiple ways to check progress in a system. It could be something from a percentage complete to units installed to materials delivered in whatever function that may be, to hours worked. Multiple ways you can progress your tasks, and it's configurable the way you want to do it. Garrett,
yeah. To follow what Tim just said, I think really the benefit of an enterprise approach is that we can push the source information, really the field information, out in a meaningful way, so that those people in the field have a way that they can interact and touch and update, make the changes that are required based upon their role, and have that go back into a central repository where all that information can be integrated and be shared across multiple applications. That's really the power of Oracle.
This is an integration question, and really several questions on this, but folks want to know if the system, Oracle Agile as part, are your plans to integrate Oracle Agile as part of the integrated enterprise project management solution?
So we have to be careful when we use the term Agile, because Agile has many products that are associated with it. One of the particular products is AutoView that came with Agile, and that is integrated out of the box today. So that is currently available, and including with it the document management that's associated with that. So that's available today. Agile has many other products around product lifecycle management, data management, etc. And there is integration that is also being built for those other products. But particularly AutoView, which I think is the pertinent one for this conversation, that exists today.
Thank you. An award is usually more than a single question. There are the pricing considerations, but also technical and commercial. Can workflows support a summation of these form of reviews? I'm sorry, all I have is what's written. So
Yes.
I don't
yeah,
know.
I think that's sure. I think that's really the power of what we've done within Oracle and leveraging our workflow capabilities within business process management. The unique capabilities for that application, for how BPM has been laced in to all of our applications, is that it orchestrates workflow across applications. It's not just moving information around that just stays inside the project management container. So, the end game for that is really, you might have complex workflow that really initiates and includes parties that live in different applications. So you might have some people that are used to being within the ERP and the financial world, and we need to be able to move information for authorities and approvals, what have you, all those conditional branches and loopbacks that Tim mentioned. And those can be done directly inside BPM.
Okay, thanks. I am concerned that if all the pieces are integrated, the systems may not hold. Can you comment on that? I guess it's more of a, how much is there a point where there's too much integration?
I think one of the end state answers to a lot of that, it's a great question, by the way, is that we're putting this within the Oracle Red stack, but making it flexible so that companies that aren't necessarily complete within that stack have options. But the scalability that we provide as Oracle, whether or not we're talking about our ERP solutions or our AutoView solutions or the solutions contained within Primavera, they're incredibly scalable as far as the volume of information that can get pumped through them for true enterprise visibility across the business.
Okay, we would like to have a central source for external project resources to input RFIs and then have a workflow to route the RFI for validation and resolution. Is this possible?
Yes. Simple out-of-the-box functionality.
Wonderful. Easy.
Yeah, I like those. I'll pick more of those.
Does Oracle EM include in the perspective functions using the up-to-date present data? Not sure if we need more information on that question. Does Oracle EM include in the perspective functions using the up-to-date present data? I guess is it using real-time data?
That's a good question, and yes, the short answer is that our analytic tools, our business intelligence and analytic tools, which we didn't really touch much on within the confines of the presentation here today, but certainly Oracle Analytics and Primavera Analytics lets you shop and drill in for information in real time. And we persist that information out at a schedule interval if some organizations want to do it on a periodic basis, or it's persisted out in real time for you to be able to run your business intelligence, analytics, and reporting.
Okay, great. Could you explain about your proactive approach, I guess the Oracle approach, in change management process kind of versus workflow? So could you explain about your proactive approach in change management process or its workflow?
Yeah, I can talk to that. The change management process, it's pretty dynamic, so there are probably limits to the workflow that you would use, and then there's probably going to be divergent paths, multiple paths you can go down if you want to put it in workflow. Typically, you're going to follow it down from recognizing it up front as an estimated or a possible change in the system, which you can see automatically in there, to then maybe saying, okay, I need to get some bids for this work. That could be another way you would go. And when that comes in, that can now be, well, okay, here's a pending amount that we're looking at. I can do negotiations, do a notice to proceed. I can do those from within the tool itself or create an automatic workflow. Typically what I see people do is set a structure in the workflow of an estimated amount, a bid amount, a negotiated amount, and a final change order. But there's a lot of things in between there that are dynamic that people could work with. So we can handle all that change and the different things going back and forth if you need to, but you can still keep the confines of this is the path that must go down to become a change order. So hopefully that answers the question. I don't know if anyone wants to add to that. And then obviously that change would be reflected in the schedule, be reflected in your financial system, and billings going down the line, and again, integrated back and forth with the financial system so it's paid, all that record's kept everywhere then, along with the change order.
Thanks. Where does the data reside? Is it in the client's on-site servers, or is it on off-site servers? Or does that depend?
It would depend.
It really does. It does depend, and I think when we look at the E&C space overall, there are some organizations that prefer to have that reside on their own servers. There's actually also options for some companies that prefer to do that in a hosting type of environment. So it's flexible as far as the approach that any company would prefer.
Okay. Are all functions accessible via web pages? So is this, I guess, a web service, or I think it's licensed software that's installed on one's system? No.
It's fully web enabled.
Fully web enabled. Okay. Great. A few questions about cost of buying the system structured. I don't know if, I'm sure you don't want to go into details on that, but I'm assuming it's a licensed structure or project-based, or?
Well, typically it's licensed structure, but it depends on there's enterprise agreements that we do as well. So that's
okay. So that person should follow up with you folks directly, I think.
Yeah.
Several questions here around integration with other systems, and I have so many emails on this. I think they've covered all of them. But could one of you speak to how this system integrates with other systems?
Well, the architecture and the framework. Go ahead, Craig.
No, you're fine, Garrett. Go ahead. Finish up.
I was just going to say the architecture and the framework that we provide as Oracle is designed to be open. So all of our application sets come with open APIs, so that if there's integration that you would like to do between other corporate systems, that's certainly available. And that's part of the advantage of our applications set generally, as far as a full enterprise vision. That if you have needs to be able to do those sorts of integrations, the platform is there and available to do so.
So we really have a strategy around applications like this that are threefold, and they run in three simultaneous paths. First and foremost, these applications are developed standalone. So Primavera provides the best capability that they can for that application, while simultaneously we're looking at integrating with all of the other internal Oracle applications, so within the e-business suite or AutoView or the document management, etc. So we're currently developing with an integration track also. But we also know that we have to have the capability to be open to other systems because of the diversity of the industry, that we look to integrate with other applications and other sources of information that's out there. So really it's continually threefold as we look at how we develop and how we share information back and forth internally and externally.
Okay, so this next question, I don't expect you to answer it, but I wanted to kind of, I guess, change it. I think it's a good question in the sense of in a more generic way. But the question had been, what was your most challenging customer to sell PPM to? I don't think, I'm sure all of your customers are wonderful. So the question I would pose, I guess, and change that question slightly, is what sort of more general challenges or issues do you see your new customers coming to you with that your software addresses?
For me personally, I think each of us could have some input onto this, but as the industry matures, as we continue to take on new capabilities and expand in new ways, there are many companies that hold on to older technologies and in-house development and developed applications that they've done. They were great during the life of those applications that they've built and served their purpose. But they continue to hold on to those and require that we try to bend to the will of those applications or processes. And that can be very difficult because there are specific challenges around those. So just in addressing the overall industry and the cumulative effect of challenges that we face. I would say that it's the relative reluctance to move to new technologies, and for a variety of reasons. There's always economics and corporate decisions that play into that. But if a company could truly move immediately into the current technology and current capabilities, it would remove a lot of the barriers that exist out there today. I don't know, Garrett, if you have another view, or Tim.
Yeah, I more or less would say that this speaks to a lot of what Tim got a chance to walk through as far as what the road ahead could be as far as options. That the technology available now is fairly limitless as far as ways that we see companies being able to potentially endorse and embrace it. The harder part for a lot of organizations is similar to what Craig mentioned, and it's the organizational change that's required to develop a culture that really looks at PPM, project and portfolio management at an enterprise or business unit level as being, strategic, a way to take the company and move the business. So it really is integrating three things. It's integrating the people that are in those companies with the processes that they would prefer to run, not necessarily just viewing the business as usual of what it takes to run the company today versus what we would like a future state for the company to look like in the future. And the tools that, roles and responsibilities will ultimately use. Our most successful clients are the ones that really look at that holistically, where they look at the processes, the people, and the tools together, rather than trying to treat implementations or business direction as just one of those at a time.
Okay, great. Well, we have come to the end of our hour. We do have some more questions, but I'm just going to suggest that those folks, some of them were very specific about specific integration issues, but ask those folks to follow up directly with you. And I do want to thank once again Craig and Garrett and Tim for spending the hour and sharing with us what Oracle is doing. Again, remind everyone that we have recorded this and we'll be doing a posting at the Fiatech.org website later this week. And hope you can all join us next week for our next webinar session. The schedule is posted on the Fiatech website. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.